Hi there, I'm Michael Bovee with Consumer Recovery Network. Thanks for tuning in to DebtBytes, our YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to cover something that is a little bit of a counterintuitive statement. You can use being sued for collection in the courts to your advantage. So it's not that you set out to get sued. Everybody wants to avoid that. And we support you avoiding that. We have tons of videos up here about how to settle debt at every stage of collection, but sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you're just going to get sued, and it can happen quickly in the case of maybe Amex or Discover, and it could take forever, and that might be from a debt buyer that eventually buys your debt because it's gone unpaid long enough. But if you get sued, sometimes it's the last account, right? So I've been working and helping people settle debt for many, many years, and sometimes it's just we couldn't get to that one fast enough, right? Because it's just on this 12-month, 18-month track, sometimes even longer. And so it's the last one you get sued on, and honestly, that's pretty much the best case scenario because all of your available resources can go to tackle that, right? But what if it's early on and it derails any efforts that you're going to have with additional settlements that you're trying to do, additional debt collection matters that you're trying to resolve? So when you get sued, let's talk about how to benefit from this. And I know, again, it's even saying it on camera makes me kind of chuckle a little bit. But you can use strategy to give yourself an opportunity to settle a debt that you otherwise couldn't have only because you got sued. So let me explain. Being sued is a very formal process, okay? It's the last stage of the collection life cycle, and the courts are going to control how things progress, okay? If you are sued and you fall all over yourself to say, oh my gosh, Your Honor, I just couldn't pay, so I didn't pay, that's not going to help your situation. You're not getting and taking the opportunity that you have in front of you. However, if you defend a lawsuit, okay, it gives you an opportunity to buy time. You don't have the money to resolve a collection lawsuit right when it happens, potentially, and sometimes you don't even want to, even if you have the money, and the reason is that they have you over a barrel. They have leverage. The debt collection attorneys are, used to having that kind of pressure, and they're not going to back off of it just because you call them and say, look, my bad, I've got some money, let me throw something at this. You're typically going to get a better and more flexible other side, the litigator, the collection attorney, when you fight back. So filing a defense is a process that you can use to your advantage to buy time to settle. If you're in California, if you're in New York, if you're in New Jersey, and some very heavily populated areas with courts that are just overwhelmed, there's instances where you can just file a general denial and buy yourself 6 months before anything else is going to happen. I want you to work with an attorney. The reason working with an attorney of your own is important is because they're there to help you take advantage of every part of that formalized process. So filing an answer isn't just as simple as saying, I don't know you, although it can be. It is kind of basic. But there are affirmative defenses. There's things that you can do that an experienced debt collection defense attorney is going to make sure that you capitalize on. There's even situations where you can win when a debt collector is suing you. And I want you to have the opportunity at least to talk with an experienced debt collection defense attorney. There are not very many around the country. Call up your average attorney out of the Yellow Book and Yellow Pages, and you'll find that they're saying, well, just file bankruptcy. Just pay the debt. It's because they don't quite understand the nuances of defending against debt collectors and banks when they're suing you. But every state has a few, if not dozens, of experienced debt collection defense attorneys. There's ones in California that I know cover the whole state, Florida, tons in Texas and on the East Coast. As you get inland, it becomes a little bit more difficult, like in Idaho, to find many, if more than one. So talking with an attorney will help you optimize those. Now, using this time to get the most of the situation when your goal is to just resolve the debt, not to fight and win, because there are, like I said, chances for that. Talk to an attorney about it. But if your goal specifically is to save up money, give yourself the time that you need, create also a softer, pliable, more flexible debt collection attorney, because you're not just the 90% of people that roll over and get judgments against them because they do nothing, they don't know what to do, they get default judgments, summary judgments, fall all over themselves to set up some kind of payment. When you make payment arrangements with a debt collection attorney, you're typically, anyway, going to be looking at paying the full balance back over a much longer period of time. signing off on a consent or a stipulation of judgment in order to get the benefit of those payments. And that's not a big deal. At the end of the day, you do avoid wage garnishment and bank levy and things like that. So there's reasons to agree to that. And even after you file a defense, like I'm talking about, you might find yourself in a position where that makes the most sense for you. But preserving your options, not freaking out, because a lot of the phone calls I get and the consultations we take in from our website, and even from people that are watching our videos on YouTube, they're in a situation where things have escalated to the point where they just got served. And it's just like, I mean, the pressure and the stress that are associated with that action. You know, just you're not sure what to do, so you're out there looking for information, or you put your head in the sand. Don't do it. Just slow down. Take a deep breath. Understand that you have options to deal with being sued, and you can kind of take advantage of the fact that the formal process buys you time, gives you the ability to negotiate more flexibly with the other side. I even see settlements on active litigation files that, you know, you get 50%, 60%, and time to pay. So that's pretty beneficial. So if you have questions, if you are, you know, unable to kind of piece together what this looks like for you, if you need resources, you need me to refer you to some experienced attorneys that I talked about in this video, you can post in the comments below and ask your questions, get dedicated feedback. You can call the number on the screen, press option 2, you can reach me live or leave a message, and I return all my phone calls. I'll see you on the next video.